Many of you probably seen him on different platforms. Like he recently was, recognized as a $1 million Hall of Famer at Eric Worre GoPro Mastery, Recruiting Mastery. So if you know, you know, but definitely if you're building your business, you're starting with the right foot, this is the best time because guess what? Conversation is king. So if you're in network marketing, you need to dominate and understand that conversation is what's going to lead you to get more friends, gain more people, have more leaders on your team, and obviously connect with people all over the world. In spite if they join or not, you build friendships. And who better to show us tonight what he's been doing? I've seen posts. He's been posting about that conversation he's had, how he's been recruiting people from own conversations. So I said, who's better to train us on something that he's actually doing? There's a difference with trainers out there who are just giving you some info to bump you in the head. And there's a difference when somebody's in the trenches just like you. All right, so help me welcome a man who has more traveling miles than LeBron James and definitely known in almost every platform in the industry, not just in our company. Yes, recently recognized as a $1 million Hall of Famer, Mr. Jeff Alkebers. What's up, man? What's going on?
There you go. Great to be here with all of you. Hey, Omar, good to see you. Good to see all of you. Awesome, totally awesome. Yeah, nice to be here. And so I guess everybody's sort of spread out everywhere, right? All over North America. You might be in South America. I don't know if we got anybody from South America over here.
Yeah, Luis Gonzalez is from UK, so we got
people. Oh, UK. Oh, he's furthest out. Okay, so he gets the award tonight.
That's it. He's the winner.
He traveled the most. Okay, why not? Well, it is. It's good to be here. Happy New Year to all of you. And I hope you had a great holiday season with your family. Everything went well with all of you. We just got back last night, and we came back, and the Wi-Fi was down. No Wi-Fi. My youngest son comes up to me, says, "No Wi-Fi? What will we do now?" I said, "I don't know, but there's a pool table back there. Maybe we could shoot pool, get to know one another better, Anyway, so exciting things for life, for your future, provided that we take advantage of it. And that's the key, taking advantage of it. And that's what we got to do. And Omar's right. I stay in the game. I was recently in, I don't know, a few weeks ago in Las Vegas with my wife, and we went out to, I was just coming back from Costa Rica. Well, I was out in Costa Rica, and then Eric Worre sends me a message. He said, are you gonna be at GoPro? I said, well, I got a virtual ticket, Eric. And he said, no, come on, man. I want you to come out here. I'll give you 2 platinum tickets if you come. So those are $3,000 each, right? Go to his studio. And I was like, okay, fine, I'll come. All right. I mean, I didn't want, I told my son, he said, when you come back from Costa Rica, you're going to stay around for a while, right? And yeah. Then I come back, I said, got to go to Vegas. And what? I said, it's only for a few days. Then I'm back. And then I'll chill. I'll chill for a while. Okay. I'll zoom a lot. Anyway.
You went to a humble house, right?
Yeah.
You went to Eric Worre's humble house. I don't think they fit in there. Not many people. Amazing.
He doesn't have a game room like I do. He always talks about my game room here. But no, he has an incredible house. That thing is like, I don't know. It's like 15,000 square feet. And then there's the exterior features of it, which would be another 10,000. So it's about a 25,000 square foot operation, Wow. Yeah, beautiful place. And, it's a reflection of the fact that we have a big industry out there, and then he's serving it. And Eric and I used to be in the same network marketing company back in the 1980s.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. Matter of fact, his upline used to come like Jeff Olson, some of the others anyway, used to come over to my office in Huntsville, Alabama. Back then, we did just regular BOM meetings, and anyway, we would hold regular meetings and all that. But yeah, that was the 1980s back then, and so yeah, we go back to that. So a lot of our thinking, the way we think, reflects from that era of time. Though he, like me, tries to be progressive in understanding, not so much network marketing, because nothing really changes. The base, the basics never change, the fundamentals. It's just the methodology. Like when I started in 4Life 25 years ago, we were conference calling. So the fundamentals didn't change in terms of how can you get people together and not have to travel to do it. We did that 25 years ago. But so now we Zoom. We wouldn't dream of conference calling. So methodology changed, right? And so that could be true for social media too. But the great thing about it is you don't have to be an expert on methodology. And I think the message out there, here's the problem with some of it, okay? Some network marketing companies that are really big on social selling is that you have to be glamorous. You have to be Hollywoodish. When I started 25 years ago in 4Life, then none of that was relevant at all. It didn't matter whether you were pretty, not so pretty, thin or heavy, man, woman, old person, an older person. None of that was relevant. The only thing that was relevant was working hard. If you're really wanting, and so I say that today it really hasn't changed the fundamentals, that if you come in this and you work hard, you're going to be successful. Now, having said that, we hear the saying, that practice makes perfect, right? But it's really perfect practice makes perfect. Like we have a piano upstairs. So when I'm going by and I hear my son playing and he's off on a note, I said, what? And he knows when I say that I caught him, okay, you didn't do that right. You didn't play that right. You didn't play that right. Okay. So the thing is, it's a matter, it is true. Doing it right is important because, again, mastering the fundamentals. But some people, like I did a survey today, and all of you are welcome to join that group. Let me see if I can find it. I did announce it, but it's 90 Days of Fun with Jeff Outgilberts. It's a public group right now, 90 Days of Fun with Jeff Outgilberts. So we're doing a 90-day run. It began January 1st, a few days ago, right? A date yesterday, I don't know. Anyway, and I did a poll, where do you struggle the most? Like prospecting, follow up, which tools do I use? What do I do when they join? What do I tell them to do? I'm stuck and I don't know what to do about it. So I did a survey there, so I haven't had time to look at the survey really. So I'll look at it tomorrow. But anyway, and I think Claudia saw it. Anyway, so that's the thing. I think it's just simply now we just need to understand that the more of the fundamentals that you do, the greater your success will be. And so, for example, when it comes to prospecting, some people say, well, I burned through my list. I belong to the NFL club, no friends left, right? Yeah, my friends see me coming, they run. Anyway, what do I do? Okay. And so I've been saying this. I was glad to see Eric really push this hard when we were there at the GoPro Mastery, because on one of the days he says, okay, for 1 hour, I want you to get into your phone and I want you to reach out to 100 people. And then, it can be, hi, what's happening? Going through Facebook, Instagram, text message, email if you have to, whatever. Anyway. And of course I didn't hit 100. I didn't, maybe I got halfway there. It really doesn't matter. If you make the effort, great things are going to happen if you do it consistently, if you do it every day. Every day, that's the key. And so one thing that I suggested, and is that go into for example, your Facebook. And when you click on individuals, is that what it's called? Individuals? I think it's called individuals. Anyway, I forget what they call things. But yeah, anyway, you just go in there and you can, at the top on the search bar, you can hit, let's say, don't go for A because everybody goes for A. Go to Z, right? And work backwards. Okay? Hit all your Z's. And then go through each one, like click, go to her page, like something. If you want to comment, that's fine on something. Then go back and message. Look to see if there's has been any previous history of messages. If there's nothing there, shame on you. I mean, you guys connected, but nobody ever said hi, hello, or anything. Well, then what are you doing that? Say, you know what? I just noticed we've been connected for years and we've never messaged. I like your profile. If you don't mind me asking, what is it you do? So we have to understand that what we do, it comes down to one thing and one thing only. We are in the business of conversations. Unless you start having conversations with people, you cannot be successful in this business. You cannot sponsor people in this business. It can't be automated. There's no way that process can be automated. Some might try to automate it, but do you really? Is that how you create relationships? Right? I mean, it's like you text message, you're looking for, you're a single person, you're looking for, someone to marry, and you just text message and I laugh because one girl at our church, she met this guy, she's English, and met a guy in Mexico. He doesn't speak English. She doesn't speak Spanish. I'm like, really? So we're going to just do this through Google Translator, right? This is how you build a relationship. Well, they're not in a relationship anymore. That failed. It's gone. Okay. Well, just imagine in network marketing trying to do the same thing. It just doesn't work. I mean, sooner or later, you're going to have a conversation. Now, that doesn't mean you have to physically meet. I'm not saying that because you can Zoom. It's true. If they're in India, then I would say that's a little challenging, right? But you can still get on Zoom. You can still do that. But the thing is, our business is nothing but conversations. So the more conversations you can create, the greater your success will be. And I'm not saying build endless rapport, right? I'm not saying that. I'm not saying, do the dance, and you're just holding back, asking the question, will you be with me the rest of your life? Okay. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that once the conversation, once you get it going, like in that case, hey, I saw your profile page. We've never chatted yet. If you don't mind me asking, what do you do? Then they come back with what they do. That's totally awesome. Do you enjoy it? See, that's keeping the conversation going. Do you enjoy it? Well, that can go a number of different ways. They might enjoy it. If they do enjoy it, that's great. That's fine. My response to that would be, hey, that's awesome. Let me ask you this. Do you keep your options open when it comes to making money? I have something, it may or may not be for you, and it's okay if it's not. But if you're open, I'd love to share it.
I like that you mentioned that, Jeff. Sorry to make a pause real quick.
No, go ahead.
Sometimes it's really, really important for people to understand. You want to avoid being spammy. I understand it. You want to avoid getting added to the blocking party. No block party. Because if you go straight to the jugular, you go straight to the neck. Hey, we never chatted. There's no conversation. You just pop up with a business question. You might join the block party. You might come out as, a little a little slimy. It doesn't seem well. So that process is really important to understand. Spark a conversation, say hi, ask what they do, and then you continue with the prospecting process. Go ahead. Sorry to cut you there.
No. You jump in anytime. That's good. And so, and on the other hand, if like I you know, I messaged one lady, I don't know her anyway. And I said, I looked at our previous message and she was in a network marketing company before. And I said, so-and-so, I said, hey, it's been a while since we've messaged. How are you doing? And how are you doing in your XYZ company? And so then she messaged back. She says, I'm not doing anything with that company right now because my upline, they did some terrible things. And I said, oh, I'm really sorry to hear that. So did that put a bad taste in your mouth for the profession, or are you still open? And she said, no, I'm open. I said, great. I'd like to share something with you if I could. It may or may not be for you, and that's okay if it's not, but it wouldn't surprise me if it was. And so that's it. And that's when it's game on. So we shift from general to now we pivot to specific. This is what I want to do. I had one woman in Scotland. She's another one. I asked her, I said, how are you doing in your XYZ company? And she said, I'm not, but I'm open. I'm looking for one.
I think you posted that, right? You posted a screenshot.
Yeah. I said, I'm looking for a company. Okay, boom, game on. Now, just imagine. Now, those were just two examples. Just imagine if you had 20 or 30 of these conversations going on every day. Now, that might seem like a lot. That might seem overwhelming. But the fact of the matter is, different people are going to respond at different times. They're going to be busy. They're going to get to you. I've got a guy that is really funny. He was in my downline 30 years ago in another company, and he's getting ready to join me. You know, he was when I was in, it was a company before 4Life, and with David Lisenby was vice president of that company, matter of fact. And anyway, so I remember going up into Montreal, calling him and saying, man, I can't read these signs. Everything's in French. And I've got to do a meeting, right? I said, just give me the exit number. Meet me at the exit. So we meet at the exit, and I'm jumping out of the car, and I'm taking my clothes off, right on, putting a suit on, getting ready to go over to the meeting. But anyway, he was a young kid then. Then he went off and became very successful in filmmaking and all that. That was his passion. So, but now he's like, hey, I really want to get wet with network marketing. I really want to get wet. So anyway, but here's the thing. It's all about conversations. How many of these conversations can you create? My wife, 4Life's getting ready to launch China January 9th. And just the other night, my wife was reaching out to a guy and because before we had introduced Transfer Factor, but we couldn't do anything at that time with them. And so he was saying, man, I can do this. I can get a team together, So anyway, and so again, she's got conversations going, talking to that. There's just a lot of several, it's not just the conversations that you initiate. I don't initiate a lot simply because I can't. I just can't, because I've got too many of my leaders I have to support. So it's a good problem to have. But the thing is, if you can initiate, you do what you can. But the key thing here is leverage. If you're doing 20 to 30 a day and you got 10 people like you doing that, then you're not doing 20 or 30. If you have 10 people like you, you're doing over 200, 300 a day. You see what I mean? So the old saying, right, that massive action turns out massive results is really true. It's when they say it's all about the numbers. Well, people aren't numbers, don't get me wrong. But in theory, it is true that when you do those numbers, you are the larger the most conversations that you have going on, you're going to have a great success. Matter of fact, at GoPro Mastery, one man did this with him and his team, And in 1 month, they grew by 4,000 members. 4,000 members in 1 month following this very principle. So we have to understand is this a new revelation? No, when I started 25 years ago, I began my business with conversations. That's how we did it. I think Omar wants to jump in here, say something.
No. I'm listening. I'm just over here to
Okay. So 25 years ago, that's what I did. And interestingly, 25 years ago, some of you saw my picture at convention. I showed it sitting behind a table with a cat, and I looked sort of dazed and all that. That was when I began For Life, and that's all I did was pick up the phone and I called people. And so from that table, I never did one single meeting. I never went out and saw anybody face to face. But in 90 days, I sponsored 27 people, and I had a team of 800 without bringing over a downline, okay? So I had to start from scratch, and I had to do that with conversations. So when Eric really pushed this strong, I was really glad to see him do that, because that's exactly the way I felt before I even went to GoPro. I've been telling everybody, you need to start reaching out to people. How many people can you message in a day? Now, if you have a contact list and you haven't completed it, well, then stay on the list. You don't need to do this, okay? Complete that contact list, and then, transition over, and then understand your Facebook is your digital contact list, and if you will, or your Instagram, and just start asking people, just start talking to people, compliment them on their content, and then that's it. Just get the conversation going and see who responds back. And guess what? The ones that don't respond back, take them out of your Facebook. Give them a week. Be tolerant. Some people get busy. I get it. I've actually taken some people out, and then they message me like 2 weeks later, hey man, what's going on? I already took them out. Okay. So,
you can have a conversation without having them as a friend, which is great on Facebook.
That's it. So the idea here is you're also, cleaning up your page, and what you're doing is you're getting the ones out who are not going to ever engage with you, and then you can add new people that you meet. Facebook will suggest some people. Of course, if they're all in For Life, then they're going to be For Life people, right? So it'd be like, it's like preaching to the choir, right? So don't worry about that. But you can go to other Facebook groups of whatever your interest is, whether that is that my wife? What is she doing back there?
Hello, just want to say hi, Brittany. Enjoy
So that was awesome.
So whatever your interest is, I'll give you one example. I know one leader that she posted, she was out in the middle of the lake, and she belongs to fishing groups. Okay, that sounds like a real great place to find people for network marketing, right? And so fishing groups she belongs to. And then so she says, it's a Monday, and she says, wow, it's a Monday here. Yeah, 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Nobody is on this lake. Nobody. I just own this lake today. Man, I love it. I'm so glad I do the work I do, because it gives me the freedom to enjoy this. And then everybody's like, why is she out? Why does she not have a job? Why is she not out working like us? We are normal people. That's very abnormal, because normally you do this on the weekends. Okay. So then they start messaging her saying, hey, what is it you do, by the way? They're curious. Anyway, but the point is, you can get into a lot of groups, meet cool people. And then, of course, you can't pitch people in those groups about what you do, because the admin will kick you out, right? So, but then you can add them to send them a friend request. And then once they're part of your network now, then okay, great. You can engage with them. But if you looked at your own page right now, how many people are there? I mean, I know I got 5,000 on my Facebook. I'm like maxed out all the time. But anyway, I mean, when you think about it, so that's how long would it take to go through that many people? It takes some time. But in the meantime, what's going to happen? You're going to have people that are going to say, hey, I am open to looking at what you do. And this is what you do. You sponsor people. You'll start sponsoring people. And so that's the key, is getting the ball rolling and keep it in mind. So that's step one. Start the conversation. And then step two is make an offer to them. Not like The Godfather. Let me make you an offer. You cannot refuse. I'm not talking about that. They say, how do you get people in the United States to sign up? Oh, that's real easy. We got guns over here. Anyway.
Now we can take even more advantage, because starting the year is like the best time to start connecting with people. Let's use the best example. Michelle just popped up, right? Hey,
Yeah.
hi. That's literally what we can do with people in combos. We go into the inbox and we just say, hi, how are you? Happy New Year. Hope everything is well. Hope you're enjoying with the family. Maybe Jeff, you can give us a little more, some examples like that. I wouldn't be, the expert on it, but I'm pretty sure you have some examples of connecting with people, reconnecting, or either old friends or with new friends. Just like I was using the example of Michelle, because she popped up like that. But that would be like we popping up in their inbox.
That's it. That's exactly right. And so then, again, so conversations, you make them an offer to take a look at what you're doing. And then third, once they, and here's the thing, if they're fidgeting on, I don't know about the business, say, well, why don't we do this? If you don't mind, if I can have permission, what's an area in your life, let's say in health, that you would like to improve? Just an area of concern. If you don't mind me, if you feel it's okay to share that with me, what would that be? If you like to see something improve, what would that be? And then introduce a product to them, get them on the product. That's the thing. Get the ball rolling, because once they're on the product, then it's going to be a simple thing as, hey, why don't you download the app? Or you send them a video. I did one call with one woman. She met at a Tony Robbins event. And I don't know if she's here on the call. If you're on the call, great. Anyway, but I remember it was going to be a Zoom presentation, and he got on the call late. We didn't think he was going to show. And then he showed. And then it was like, she was saying, she was getting ready she had the PowerPoint already up. And I said, please take it down. Take the PowerPoint down, please. I want to have a conversation. And then I just started asking him about himself, his background, what did he do? Why he enjoyed that, things like that. And we never did show him the PowerPoint, never did, because I didn't feel like the timing was right. I thought the important thing was, let's develop some rapport. Let's, in other words, we've got to create some chemistry between us that's going to resonate. Because if we can create that chemistry, then I got a bridge to work with. And then we can look at the PowerPoint. So that was the thing. And then actually the next step after the conversation was got them on the products. So you can always do that. Some people are just ready for business. They're ready to go. Then great. That's just what you want. And then keep in mind, once they've enrolled with you, that doesn't mean they're in the saddle and they're going to do the business yet. Okay, so that just means they're just sort of checking it out, testing it out. They're not really sure. So what can you do to really move that process along? Well, you can introduce them to some of the upline. You can always do that. Matter of fact, you can use Facebook Messenger and to catch, some of your upline. And like if you reached out to me and said, hey, Jeff, I want you to meet John. John just recently joined 4i. Still not sure if he wants to do the business yet, but, he's definitely considering it. And so in that chat, then I can leave a voice message instead of just a text. I can say, hey, John, I understand exactly how you feel. I felt the same way. And you know what? I just didn't complicate it. I saw people that were doing well. What I wanted to do was create a second income have some extra money to invest with or have fun with. And it amazed me how well it moved. And man, I got deeper and deeper in it, and it just started growing and growing. And I tell you what, it totally changed my life. So you got any questions, Sean, you reach out to me. I definitely want to hear from you.
That's powerful. That's a game changer right there. Because the voice guys, take notes of this. This is a golden nugget. That voice note will make 10x impact more than a text. When people hear you, they hear your voice. The connection is a whole different level. That's a game changer. It's been a game changer for me ever since I've learned that. Been doing it. I heard it from Ray. Ray started, really. I really heard from him. He started, teaching that, and ever since I started using it, I noticed the connection of people that even they're not doing the business. They're probably on here. I love you guys, but they're not doing the business. But they haven't gone anywhere. They're there just because of that connection. And they say it's a whole different level because, you got bots out there, answering bots and all that stuff. When they hear your voice, tonality is crucial. It's a whole next level connection. I'm sorry, Jeff. I just jumped in there. Go ahead.
No, I love it. I love it. As a matter of fact, because when I was talking to a stranger one day, that she reached out to me and I asked, I forget what it was about, but I asked her a question. She gave me an answer, and I looked at it and I replied back to her. I said, that comment was from an AI tool. I said, now I want to hear from you. And then she said, how did you know? I said, I know, it's too perfect. It's too technical. It's obvious it's an AI tool that you used on the answer. I said, so talk to me as you would anybody. Anyway, so yeah. But so that's why I like a voice message. Then they know it's you, it's real. And the tonality of the message too is important. It's important that you want to have energy, but you don't want to scare them off. You don't want to come across fanatical, right? But on the other hand, you come across with a person with certainty, with belief, and at the same time, you have empathy when you're talking to them, that you're really trying to connect with them, and you appreciate them as a person.
That's right. That's really nice. And I've noticed that people sometimes they don't expect it. Like when you send a voice note to somebody, there will actually two things happen. They'll reply, or they obviously say, "Wow, I wasn't expecting that." But then another thing happens. They'll reply with a voice note. They actually start following you, and mirroring the way you responded, which that even connects you to a whole next level too. Now you're connected. Now you're chatting. Now you're buddies. All of a sudden, you go from being almost strangers or barely knowing the person to actually sending voice notes back, and that makes a whole different connection.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And the thing is, I guess if they're a professional or a higher caliber kind of person, then understand that that's a process. That's not an event. Those kind of people just don't say, "Hey, I'm in, man, sign me up." Ones that you usually do that, so they're so quick to that, are the ones that don't stay around too long. So, but as you what we call recruit up, as you recruit up, and you're looking for better quality people, you're going to see that they're a process. That and some people will just see that as, well, they're not interested because they're not saying they want to join. So no, it's not that at all. It's just that they have busy lives. They have busy lives. It's not that they're not interested, or something's going on. Like I got one friend that I was telling you about, and he, his cat died, right? So emotionally, he's wrecked over his cat. Now, some people say, well, he's just a cat, man, just a cat. Now, that would really go over well if I said that, right? I'll just go buy another cat.
Yeah, it's a great combo.
Yeah. That's, zero. We got to have a certain emotional intelligence, right? So I said, okay. He's upset about his cat. It's going to take him a little time to recover. Don't push it. Regroup. That's it. And that's it. And so, yeah. Why don't we open? What do you think? Do you want to open up to any questions or anything, Omar?
Yes. Actually, there's actually one question before we open up for the rest.
Okay.
There's a question here from Claudia, who's asking, since our company is so different than all other companies because of transfer factor, it tends to almost scare people away. What is your advice with so many years of experience talking about transfer factor?
You know, I don't know. I talk about it differently with different people. It just depends on the person. So we have to be flexible. We can't have a canned response, right? It just won't work that way. It's like if I need a screwdriver and you're handing me a wrench, it's just not going to work, right? So that's it. So when it comes to like younger people, for example, it's interesting that a lot of younger people, they're interested in staying young. They really are. A lot of when I say younger, that even goes in the 30s, in the mid 30s, right? They're interested in staying young. So I've had a lot of people say this. So, I don't know. Now that I got these whiskers, this is my wife's idea. Okay. I don't know how long I'm going to stay with this. I don't know if this is for me. Okay. We'll see. But anyway, a lot of people say, because I'll be 68 this month in January, 68. So I mean, you don't look 68, man. You don't look 68. I said, well, I take transfer factor. Do you want to know about it? Because it's a great anti-aging product. And I said, and it's awesome for the immune system. You're going to see that your downtime is going to be minimal when there's viruses going around. You're going to be up and running. And so they're like, oh, okay. So it's all in the language, all in how you talk about it. I don't get technical. I don't get scientific. Some people will have that disease approach with people that sort of turns them off because it's a negative subject. Hey man, you need to be on this because you don't want cancer, and the COVID is going around still, and you know what I mean. So we just talk about what I just said, and that's just what I say to people. So going back to Claudia's, here's the thing that Claudia, again, this is part of it too. We need to really get, and we really need to understand is that some of us have more of a product approach. Some of us have more of a business approach. Some have the question, do you talk about the product or you talk about the business? I don't separate the two. I don't. It's all one thing to me because it's just a fact. If you have such a great product, why wouldn't it be a business opportunity? When I saw it 25 years ago, I said, I listened to Dr. Rob Robertson. His message about it totally sold me. And then I got on the conference calls, and back then, 25 years ago, I mean, you had all these women on there that stage 4 cancer, and they're talking about all this cancer and what TF did. And, now, you wouldn't see them because everybody's afraid of the FTC, FDA, right? Anyway, but back then it was, when I heard those stories, I said, that's it. That's all I need to hear. I heard the science from Rob. I heard a few testimonials. Okay, these people aren't lying. Okay, I got to do this. This is a business opportunity. See, that's how I looked at it. It's funny. I'm just that way. And maybe that's just a man thing. I don't know. But I mean, it's just like when I went into a hotel the other day up in Nashville, North Carolina, that hotel's 110 years old. Anyway, when I walked in, I look at everything from a marketing point of view. I'm like, okay, so the decor, why did they do the decor here? What, who are they trying to appeal to? Well, yeah, women. Yeah. Okay. All right. Look at that. Yeah. This is the way I think. Well, even if I'm standing in a grocery line, if I'm looking at the magazines, the magazines there, I'm saying, okay, how would you use that in network marketing, that line? You know what I mean? I'm always looking at things from a business standpoint. Or if I go into a business and I'm counting 20 employees, I said, man, well, some are doing more than minimum wage. Okay, so it's costing them that. And then what's this? The real estate is costing them what a month? Probably that. So how many customers do they have to be? What's the average for? You see what I mean? And that's the way I think. And so anyway, with a woman, it may not be that way. The approach is, what can I do to fix this person? Whatever the product's for. You know what I mean? But here's the thing.
And including, like in my case, I'm sure that you've done with it too. If it's a cold, direct, trying to reach somebody who's a complete stranger, I always try to put ahead, hey, my wife and I, either, we're expanding or we're building, or we're looking for people who want to make some extra money working remotely or open to making some extra. I always put my wife and I, because of just to go on the safe side, just people or women who think that everybody wants to hit on them. And it's social. So, a little extra tip in there, married guys out there, man, always try to include my wife and I. And it comes more professional, more receptive, and the conversation goes smoother. You don't get that. Who are you? What are you trying to get? Why are you talking to me? Like all these random questions, you don't get that. You kind of go over them and go into the straight, normal human conversation.
Well, so very good. And so, like the other night when we had the New Year's Eve party, we were at this hotel, Grove Park Inn in Nashville, North Carolina. Anyway, but so we're in this ballroom and we're sitting at a table, right? And then across from me was a brain doctor, and his wife is a scientist. He's got a bow tie and he looks very eccentric. Okay. So the couple next, he's Wall Street. He's got a white shirt, blue tie, black suit. But his wife is a recording artist in music. She's really awesome. And then another couple sitting closer to me or next to me, he's just a professional. He's done a lot. And so you would think, and then of course I have my Micah, my son Micah, and his wife sitting with us too. So that was all at that table. Now there was probably, I don't know, there could have been 100 tables in that ballroom. But you would think that would be, that's no zone. Don't go there with network marketing. You will die if you go there. It's like Indiana Jones, Temple of Doom. You're going through and there goes your head, right? It's like that, right? So, but no, here's the thing. I say that when you talk to people, just relax, be yourself, and be interested in people. It's the art of the conversation, isn't it? And so when I was talking to the man next to me, and then I said, well, and how I always do this is always, I ask the question, what do you do? And then let them talk it out. You can ask more questions to have a better understanding. And then finally, when that runs out of gas, what's he going to say?
What do you do?
What do you do? Works every time. And then when I started, I said, okay, game on. This is what we do. And so I told him, I said, are you familiar with network marketing? He said, yeah, sure. Like Amway, Herbalife, Advocare. He knew the list. And I said, well, that's what I do. And he said, really? And so we just talked about it a good while. And so in other words, good prospect. Now the couple across, the guy that looked Wall Street and his wife is a recording artist. I started talking to her about music. I said, oh, you're into music. Awesome. So I'm into music too. I'm a songwriter. I've got 3 CDs on iTunes. I'm in, YouTube, Spotify, and she said, really? She said, well, I'd love to hear it. And I said, well, I'd love to hear what you do. And so let's add one another. Well, here we're adding one another on Facebook right there.
That's
Boom,
awesome.
boom. And then, of course, the other couple, that's the more challenging point, isn't it? The guy that's a brain doctor and his wife is a scientist. Now that's interesting. But actually I started saying, I said, have you ever heard of Gary Brecka? Gary Brecka, he's a biologist.
Yeah,
Are you familiar? No, I'm not familiar with him. I said, you know, I was in Vegas and I just heard him. He spoke in Vegas and he talked about genes and are you predestined for disease? Are you really predestined for disease? And really doesn't believe in diseases. He just believes you're nutrient deficient. Fix the nutrient deficiency and you fix the problem. And she said, really? She said, well, how do you see what I mean?
Common ground.
And then, of course, Micah, since she was sitting next to Mike, I said, well, that's his prospect. Okay. So I'll leave her to him. Okay. We had that table nailed. And this is a New Year's Eve party, right? But it wasn't like we spent the whole time talking about those things. We talked about different things. But you see, with one guy, I'm talking to him about the profession specifically. And then with the other, I'm talking to her about music. Then I switch to talking to biology with a scientist about Gary Brecka. And she was like, hey, I need to write that down. I need to follow him. I said, yeah, you definitely need to follow him. Anyway. And so that's the thing. The thing is, you get conversations going with people. Sometimes it's going to lead right into, just, a product. You might want to just, say there, I'm going to share this product with you, but I want you to understand there's also a business opportunity behind it too. If you want to know more about that, I'd love to talk to you, but we can talk about that later. There's a lot of different ways you can handle it. You women are better at it than men. So, you're more intuitive, right? You're more intuitive.
You brought that example, Jeff, because it shows two complete different angles. One being, from a leadership point, you're a leadership who is focused on being interested, not interesting. Like, it's me. And the other part of leadership is being empathic. Empathic leadership, when you see the world through people's eyes, you find common grounds. You talk about music, you talk about science, you talk about, something that's relative to them. And they start thinking, okay, he's paying attention to me. So it makes the person feel comfortable, feel heard, because if it's all about us just vomiting and just spitting out everything we can, people are like, okay, when is my turn to talk? So that goes really deep from both angles. I'm like, that's where we make a difference. Because yes, we want to focus on trying to get the person, we want to bring them on, but we want to have them feel that it's more about them than anything else. And you nailed it when you hit it on the head with that one, because that's a perfect way to smoothly go about it. Now, there's a question here from Marcos Andrew. He said, Jeff, in the past Zoom meeting, you said 4Life is 95% about to have strong mentality. I agree with you. Any tips about that?
A strong mentality?
I guess mindset, probably.
Yeah, here's the thing. So we might call that mental posture, maybe. Okay. And, so it's the mental posture. I think the important thing is that when we are having these conversations, when we're prospecting people, posture is very important, because if we come across hungry, they know it. It can scare them off. That can make them uncomfortable. And then how we get rid of that is, let's divorce ourselves from the outcome. Okay. I'm not concerned whether I get this person or not. If this person wants to come, then great. But if it doesn't happen, that's okay. And so we've heard that expression, go get 100 no's, right? So I can remember Dave Daughtry told me that. Go out and get 100 no's, man. By the time I said 100 no's, I said, that's negative. He said, no, it's positive. I said, explain how it's positive. By the time you get to 100, you'll be a rich man. And I said, that's positive. So when I got a no, I smiled. I remember when I went out to talk to a man that gave him information. I followed him up. He was a networker. And I remember when I met with him, he said, well, if you think I'm your man that's going to make you rich. And I just started smiling. I said, thank you, thank you, thank you. He said, what? I said, thank you. I mean, I was told by my sponsor, if I went out and got 100 no's, I would be a very rich man. You put me that much closer. Thank you. And then he said, well, I'm not really saying no. I mean, can you explain more about the product? And I looked at my watch and I said, I have a little time. That's posture. So I gave him something. He threw it right back at me. And then he wanted to grab it back. And I was sort of hesitant in a way because I said, I got a little time. So in other words, I came across, I'm like, I'm doing okay. I'm doing great. I don't need you, but you need me. That's the feeling. That's the feeling. When you do that, you are in control. You are in control of the conversation because you're not begging them. And that's posture. That's powerful. So get good at that. Divorce yourself from the outcome. Don't worry about whether they join or not. Just be you. Yeah. So.
Awesome. Awesome.
Do we got any more questions?
Let me see. We do not. I don't see any. If anyone has any question you want to say, you want to open up your mic, lift up that hand. We got a few minutes before we close tonight. And it's been pretty awesome. Sonia Van Hecke from Orange County, California. She has a question and she wants to open her mic. Go ahead, Sonia.
Hey, Sonia.
Great.
Oh. There we go. There we go. Hey, I loved what you said, Jeff. I mean, talk about, when you're a musician, so when you strum that guitar, that instrument, you strum a chord with those folks, which made an impact for them to want to listen to you. And you also want to learn from them, which I thought was magnificent. One of the things somebody asked it already, what muscles are developed? And you said mental posture. What things have not changed since you started? We know technology has advanced and the way we communicate obviously is so much easier now than ever before. Yet the simple things of picking up the phone and talking to someone still make the most impact sometimes when you take that time, right? What's changed since you began that you feel maybe it's something that we need to know? Because I know I'm from old school too, old school Amway and other products as well, and network marketing. And what was taught back then is so different than today in a sense. I just wonder from your perspective, what has stayed the same? And obviously I know technology changed, but what has changed that we need to pivot and be adaptive to what we're going into this 2024?
Okay, great question. And there's, I think, so I think it's just that we have to have more emotional intelligence in this business. That's real important because people go through a lot out there. The pandemic had a big impact on people. So it affected families differently, but people have just, there's been a lot of disruption. So I think it just requires more patience. Back then, I mean, when I look at, for example, an interesting book I read by John Callench, and John Callench wrote Being the Best You Could Be in MLM. That was back in 1994. He was like the Eric Worre of that era, of that decade. And he died from cancer. But anyway, but I remember I was curious one day, not too long ago, I picked up a book, one of his books, and I started reading it. And I couldn't believe what I read. And on one of the pages, he said, it's a statistical fact that if you prospect 10 people, 3 are going to join and 1 will be a good leader. Now, do you think we have that kind of statistics today? No, we don't. Because people are going through things, especially since the pandemic. And so there's depression out there, there's anxiety out there, there's so many things that people are going through. So that means we don't know what people are going through when we prospect them. We got to be a lot more patient. It wasn't like it was 25 years ago when I started, and there wasn't what I call white noise. I call it white noise. It's just my coined expression, white noise, because people have got so much data going at them. Social media is, yes, it's a double-edged sword. It cuts on both sides, right? And so we can use it in our business. It's cutting on the other side, right? But it's cutting toward us too. So the thing is, we're trying to get people's attention a lot of times, and people are just inundated with stuff. Okay. So just be patient with it. It does take more. It's more of a process now than it was 25 years ago. But again, it's having those conversations, getting into being a good listener, a good communicator, and when they can feel that from you, I think that's what has changed, that you have to be good at. 25 years ago was like, okay, this is what we're doing. Big money's going to be made. Are you in or are you out? That's all I want to know. Oh, I'm in. Okay, all right. Okay, let's get you enrolled. Let's get you going. You know, and that was it. It was boom, boom, boom. Okay. Now it's like my friend, his cat died, right? Now it's a crisis. You know, I'm just saying that's people. So I think the more emotional intelligence we have, the better we're going to be in 2024.
Absolutely. I like that. I love that. And to Marcos Andrew, if you want something good, new, that can go into mindset, I can suggest you a book called Choose Your Enemies Wisely from Pat Bet-David. I just started recently listening to it in audio. I can almost guarantee you by the end of the book, you're gonna be a lion, bro. You're gonna be somebody, like, it's just gonna change your mindset, because it's gonna show you how to choose your enemies wisely, in a sense of sometimes fear, sometimes shame, sometimes the challenge is your enemy, but you have to choose them wisely. And that's going to make you scale up and just go to the whole next level. I just want to make a little, parenthesis there to give them. Now, I see Siobhan has a little question. What's up, ma'am? We're closing up tonight with a rock star. She was on our last meeting, and she's awesome. Siobhan, here she is. Open up your mic. I know you have a question before we close up tonight. It's been pretty awesome. So go ahead. The virtual stage is yours.
It was holding me back from talking. Thanks, Omar. Hi, Jeff. A great conversation. Love your ideas. I have a couple of questions. One is with Facebook. I have a lot of great Facebook friends. Even though I used to be in sales a long time ago, I was, I moved into the film industry. That's a whole different ballgame. And then something else. Oh yeah. I'm a farmer, and I run a nonprofit. So I have a lot of friends from those different genres, and from the self-improvement world. I used to work with Bob Proctor and that big group.
Oh, okay.
So a lot of them just see me as, the person who puts up inspirational messages, and now the leader of a nonprofit. How do I reach out to them? Should I wish them all a happy birthday and kind of get back into their world that way? Because, they're people I've known for 10, however long Facebook's been around, right? So should I just message them like you suggested, or should I try something like, wishing them all a happy birthday and then going back and getting into a conversation a few weeks later, so they don't think I'm being pushy, because they haven't had me push anything on them, right? It's like, oh, here's casting, or here's this, or, make a donation, which they never do, that kind of stuff. And so I've got this fine line to walk, right? And I just would like your opinion on that.
Okay. So, I describe leaders in different personalities. You got some that are like the destroyer. We know what a destroyer looks like, a ship, a destroyer. All the guns are out, right? When you see a destroyer coming, you go, oh my God, you're running for cover, right? Because anything could happen, right? So, and then you got your aircraft carriers. Those are the encouragers. Go to the mission. You're totally awesome. I love you. I can't wait till you fly back, you know? And then there's the submarines. You know, you sound like a submarine in a way. And, and so it's like you don't see a submarine, but here's the thing about submarines. They can be just as destructive as a destroyer because you don't see them coming and then boom, it's too late. You've been hit. Okay. So I say hit them because you're a submarine. They won't even see it coming because you're not a person that, I mean, in other words, when they see you coming, the shields don't go up. You know, like Star Trek when they're, should I put up the shield? You know? Okay, shields up, okay? You're not the kind of person when, you know, it's going to be shields up when they see you coming. So I would say it's great. I'd say use that to your advantage. And I would say to any of them, I mean, if it's somebody that's been in personal development, just say two of them, Bob, whatever his name is, not Bob Proctor now, but
No, he's passed.
that's right. But if you did know a Bob, you'd say, hey, Bob, I want to say Happy New Year's. It's been a long time since we've talked. What's happening with you? What's shaking in your world? I want to know. I'm just curious. You get the conversation started. And that's what I would suggest. Hang on just a second.
Right. Thank you. I'm a submarine. 2024 is all about being a submarine. So thank you very much.
Won't see you coming. That's it.
They won't see me
That's
coming.
It's boom. It's boom.
That stage.
Hey, have the attitude that you have what they've been looking for all their life. So don't be afraid of that.
Okay.
And I'm at 4%. I promise you I'll come back in if all of a sudden this iPad, I gotta get a new battery, I think.
It's all right. We're closing up tonight. It's already 10. We don't want to take much of their time and yours. I know that you're there with the family. Michelle has gone by twice. She's like, Jeff, you know.
No, that's okay. No, she's okay.
No, but we're honored to have you here tonight, Jeff.
We can do it again.
An amazing night. We can definitely do it again if you're okay with it. Have you on Tuesday, pick your brains for a bit, kind of like a Q&A, go back and forth. That way we can actually get more insight on different perspectives and have more questions, answers. So guys, prep your questions. So, but we're going to be a surprise. We're not going to say when. He's going to pop up and we're going to have him again. But it's been truly an honor to be here with you, Jeff.
Thank you.
Gain from your wisdom, not just your knowledge, and you know your years of experience has not gone in vain. Obviously, you are and will always be an inspirational leader to us, to many all over the world, and a true example of not just doing the talk, but doing the do and walking the walk to make things happen. And that's what makes you different from many others who maybe they've been 20, 15 years, but they're not in the trenches like you are. So truly honored. Thank you so much for taking this time to be with us. And before we leave, I want to close the night saying, guys, this is just the beginning. It's getting the best is yet to come. Get right up that screen for Jeff with some fire emojis, with something that you feel that if you found some value tonight, give him some thanks. Open up the mics in the meantime while I look for tomorrow's we're going to have tomorrow meeting, and I want to share with you who we're going to have. So don't go anywhere.
And you can also join that Facebook group I mentioned, so keep that in mind.
I put the group up.
I saw that, Claudia. Good girl.
I just put it up again. So everybody make sure you join 90 Days of Fun with Jeff.